Hello, I'm Amanda, and this is going to be my second lecture on schizophrenia from a patient's perspective. And in this uh, study, I'm going to focus on my personal experiences with the illness, and I'm going to focus mainly on certain areas, and that is one, some of the things that led up to me developing a full-blown diagnosis of schizophrenia. And then two, I'm going to focus on delusions as an overview of some of the worst delusions that I would personally have. Third, I'm going to focus on some of the other symptoms that I've had beside the delusions, and that would include hallucinations and voices, what the voices would say sometimes, and also paranoia and some of the other major symptoms of the illness. And like I said, paranoia is one of the main things of the illness, and I still have quite a bit of paranoia compared to one normal average guy or girl, and paranoia is something that's really hard to work on. And anyway, so first what led up to me developing schizophrenia, and one of the things I wanted to mention is nosebleeds. Okay, a lot of doctors don't know this, but I am very aware that there is something about nosebleeds leading up to a full-blown diagnosis of schizophrenia. And the reason being is because I've noticed other patients that have had nosebleeds. I used to have nosebleeds. When I started working at the age of 17, I would have nosebleeds a lot. And it didn't happen at first, but after a couple of years, it would get worse and worse. And what I think it is going on there with the nosebleeds is the brain is kind of like damaged, and it starts bleeding, and it comes out the nose. So that's what I think's going on there. And then also, what else led up to the diagnosis is many different things, and one would be too much marijuana. I used to use marijuana constantly. I used it every day, many times, and stress was also a big factor that played in it, and then social factors that played into leading up to the diagnosis of schizophrenia. And back then they called it paranoid schizophrenia, and then they had other names for it, and now they just call it as a general schizophrenia. But move on, and that's what led up. And then I was diagnosed after I was hospitalized for trying to harm myself. And now some of the delusions that I was having, okay, because that's one of the things that might be able to help some of these doctors try to understand what's going on psychologically with the patients, because it's across the board with schizophrenics that they have these major symptoms, and it's been this way for 2,000 years since the illness was first noticed. And one of the things would be the delusions, and some of the delusions I'd have would be grandiosity. Many times when I was first diagnosed, I thought I was Jesus. I thought I was Jesus, and then that evolved, and I had feelings of grandiosity about being other things as well, and being a beast or Jesus sometimes, and then the Son of Man. I had delusions for many years where I thought I was the Son of Man, and then it evolved, and then it changed, because I was into religion and spirituality a lot, so feelings of grandiosity. And then I'd also have delusions of believing things that might be real, or that are real that aren't. And one time I had a delusion where I thought there was little microbots inside my stomach, eating my guts out and stuff like that. And then many times I thought there was implants in my brain, and other delusions I would have would be well, I can't think of any right now off the top of my head. There was many of them. But move on from that now. And the reason why I'm putting this out there is because I think that a lot of people already know that I'm schizophrenic anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So anyway, also, I'm getting better. Okay, that's important. And another, the voices. Okay, yeah, I'd have voices. And when I was first diagnosed, the voices were real heavy, real bad. Before I was first placed on antipsychotics and other drugs. And what the voices would say, I mean, sometimes it would be, all right, and then other times it would be really bad, and they'd be really harmful. I mean, they'd try to hurt, however, and I always thought, I mean, I didn't even believe in, I never thought of demons or anything like that at the time, and I had no idea about what demons are, but if you could think of something like a demon that is wanting to hurt you, or I can't remember the word right now, but something like that, and try to destroy you. That's what it would be like, and and then those were many, and then sometimes they wouldn't be that bad. A lot of times the voices would be kind and helpful and help me out quite a bit. So I mean, there would be from the one side where it'd be really bad, and then the other side where the voices would be really good. And trying to think of sometimes the voices would be really loud. It'd be like somebody speaking to you into your ear, and it sounds real, and you think it's real, and then you find out it's not, and it can't be because there's nobody around. And then other times it would be voices within the mind or within the head, and and that's when it's just hard to distinguish if they're real or not, and then that adds to the confusion and the paranoia and all that. And I'm already at 7 minutes. I gotta hurry here, and then that goes along with some of the voices that I've heard personally, and my own personal experience with it. And next, I want to focus on some of the delusions, and then the voices, and then, of course, you got the hallucinations. And voices are hallucinations, but they can go further, and voices progress. If it gets really bad, and I'd start saying things, and it would be like, not necessarily, I know it's not. When I would see things, I would know it's not. I would know it's hallucination. It would be like a visual paranoia is what it would be like for me. And I would see, like devil faces or spiders or what have you, but I would know, even though I was sick, that these were hallucinations at the time. The voices were harder to distinguish between what's real and what's not. And then to progress from there, I would also hospitalized. I was hospitalized many times after having a psychotic episode, and I found that many people with the illness, schizophrenia, they are very relatable to other patients with the same illness, and they get along just like that. I mean, it's like they know each other like that, and that's one thing I can desperately, put forth out there, that they don't like to socialize with normal people, but they don't mind socializing with people with the same illness as much. It's not a rule or anything. It's not across the board for everybody. I do like to socialize, and I do socialize with normal people, and also people with the illness as well. But I always seem to click better with people that have been diagnosed with the illness as well as me. And then also another personal experiences. is self-harm. I harmed myself many times in the past. And these would usually stem from first the delusionals, and then the voices, and then the delusions and the voices combining to make myself harm myself. And this happened many times. And funny thing is, I also had helpful voices at the same time that was helping me through this process of self-harm. So I made it through it, I guess. And anyway, that's my own personal experiences with the illness. And next lecture I'm going to have on this illness would be on treatments and social services. See you later. Bye.